Oh shit, that stinks. God damn. Fucking light a candle up in this bitch. I don't know if there's any matches left over there.
Oh no.
We're fucked.
Oh no. We're gonna get to this moment. Oh, you made them with the... Ah.
I use this thing. And then I just, hit the record button and I hit a button.
Sounds like your fart.
This is like a really low. I don't know if that's making a note. So that was like for that low end. And then I got a little crafty with another sound they had in there. And we got this tone here.
It's like a heavenly synth. A haunted carnival. It's not a fast attack though.
No, very, very slow. I didn't really play too much.
That's nice.
What the hell is the name of the software? Or the plugin? Oh, Rail Sample Automatic 5000. Yeah, I didn't really dive too deep into this to figure out how to...
It's essentially a sampler. You can just adjust the different ways that it plays.
For like, this one's like the leady sound I had there. But yeah, I literally just threw them in there and just made a couple riffs to kind of give it a little extra feel, Give it that little extra cushion for the pushing, if you know what I'm saying.
I just wanted to see because it looks like we can zoom into the keys from this angle.
Leave my keys alone. Hey you, leave my keys alone.
There we go.
Just sit there and play with your phone.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Let's see, what else do we have here? We got this fucking thing. I'm pretty sure...
what's that second one? Just a verb?
It is a cymbal crash? Nope.
Not far from it. It's a bass. It's like a bass hit.
So their original take was this, I believe.
Okay.
Probably.
Oh, it came with a... Oh, no, you're doing a send to R verb, pro R.
Yeah. So I think I reversed the take to have some form of impact through the...
Yeah.
I think I use another combination of similar things. Like so. So it
doesn't just cut off.
Yeah. So they have that. They already have a reverse crash, and then I just re-reversed it.
Yeah.
On the intro of the next part. One has the bouncy delay.
Transitions.
It's pretty repetitive. It's the same two cymbals.
Yeah.
But blended with these for the bigger transition parts. Yeah, that was a combo of that other the cymbal.
Where are the vocals?
The vocals are... That's the trumpet.
They're like hidden in there. Oh, I see it. It's below that. That's your
the
piano.
piano, yeah. This is the actual Volks here.
Yeah.
And what I did was I actually pitched them to get that higher pitch in there, which kind of seems to be my little extra flavor I've been doing lately.
Yeah, it does sound nice. A little harmony.
Yep. And then one's boxed off a little bit in that phone kind of
Yeah.
range of frequencies. Gives a good texture.
Are these drum loops are just spliced in, or just like waves, or did you?
I built the drums, and then I just glued them together.
Like cutting like that? Yeah.
Yeah, like I literally put in their sampled kicks.
Yeah.
I think the hi-hats already had and I just kind of lined them up to the grid.
Mm-hmm.
And we got just a little. And then that piano, which is the whole feeling of the song. Have this little extra guitar.
Oh, the guitar.
Just a little texture.
Little side bells.
There's a lot of stuff you don't even really realize is layered in there if it's like nicely placed.
It does make it. It's one of those things though. Like if you remove it, you'll know it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you'll remember there's a part where it shines the most, and if you take it out of that part,
Yeah.
you know it's.
The way that I usually do things is I separate what I call soft instruments from the percussion and anything that I need to cut through. And then I just bust them to their own things. So if I solo this, it's just going to be basically everything without the drums.
So bass and everything.
Yeah, bass and everything.
Soft.
And then I just soothe it. Just kind of like a safety. No, I lied. This is a side chain right now. See? So this is looking at the drums right now and it's ducking.
What's that duck in the snare right now? Or is that the kick and everything?
I'll actually show you. I did this one in a different way, which I haven't done really before. I've tried it a couple of times. So I put all my drums into the hard, so it's just soft and hard. It's just easy to remember.
It's just all penis references.
Exactly. So these are just the drums.
So that's the drum overall.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, these are just all of the drum tracks. And then, did I do it? Oh, maybe I just did send it the normal way. Interesting.
Very simple.
Oh yeah, there it is. There's the big hits. And then I did some processing on, not this. Oh, by the way, I put clip on everything. This is basically like you put it on the smallest setting and it'll just not let it peak. So you can go crazy with it. Like you can really destroy sounds with it. And so, like if I cranked it, it just basically, it's not good on the snaps, but on snares it adds a little distortion and it clips off the transient.
A little bit of a saturation.
Yeah, this one knob pressure, it basically just.
I've worked with that a little bit.
Pressure, yeah.
I've played with it. I haven't really mastered the
It
pressure.
basically, I think it does like some compression and maybe a little bit other processing. So if I crank it up,
Yeah, just like a little bit of a.
it boosts it kind of.
Yeah, it's like compression limiting. I mean, compression and limiting can sometimes be similar depending.
How come I can't undo it? Yeah, it's definitely a dynamics plugin. For sure. And then, so basically I have the soft stuff ducking only in certain frequencies using soothe. So I'm side chaining the hard to the soft. and it's ducking down a little bit every time.
So when you combine hard and soft together, you get a happy medium.
Exactly. This is, I mean, you could sit there and ride everything or EQ it or whatever, but in this case, we don't have a ton of time, so.
Yeah.
This is only ducking in certain frequencies. So if I play back, it's literally ducking accordingly. So you can see up here where the hats are. And then the snare and the claps are kind of in the middle. And then I think I did one more little... Yeah, so this is now sidechain doing the same exact thing, but to the overall, and it looks like it's not even doing anything really.
What is that? That's a built-in.
This is Reaper's built-in compressor. This is just another layer of pumping that it's doing, but instead of doing it to certain frequencies, it's doing it to all of them. It's just looking at the transient of the drum and saying, all right, when it comes in, just duck everything a little bit.
And when you use a Reaper one, it's probably because it's less processing.
Yeah, there's less latency. Less processing, and I have a preset that I made already, so the routing's already there. So I literally just pull it up, and then it automatically I'm pretty sure it already does this routing, so I don't have to really worry about it. You can literally, it's nice because I can just take it, and I can, like if I wanted, say, the drums, instead of going in and doing receives and sends and all that, I could literally just click on the routing thing, and you can drag it right onto the plugin, and it automatically puts it to the sidechain.
And it just routes it in, yeah.
It automatically puts it to 3/4.
I love Reaper for that.
Yeah, like little things like that, it's nice. Let me undo it just in case. For this, I have a little bit of cranberry tape just to give it a little bit of saturation, just to kind of blend the drums in a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of already had a lo-fi sound to it, so...
Yeah, it's just a little bit of color just to kind of glue it together. And then I don't know why, maybe it was just too aggressive on the high end. I don't normally roll it off, I don't know why I did that. Sometimes you look back and you're like, I don't know why that decision was made.
Well, I mean, when you listen to the full mix, it's probably different versus listening to it solo too, so...
Yeah, of course. Yeah, usually that's how it goes.
There's always going to be a wacky thing that you get involved doing, depending on the project.
But yeah, as you can see, I put clip on every single. It auto puts it. I have it as a preset for any track, and it's just that tiny bit, just so that nothing clips. So if you get crazy, and I'm pretty sure that if it's peaking in here, it doesn't matter. The only time it matters is
trying to say that I had peaky waves.
Yeah. When as long as it's not peaking here,
that's the most important. Yeah,
that's it. This literally does nothing.
I personally get picky even with the side tracks. I don't like anything to peak because
it's annoying to look at.
It's annoying, and certain plugins won't even work properly if it's above volume. Especially if you're working with compressors and EQs at a certain point. It's like if it's blasting, it's kind of pointless to try to throw a plugin on it because the plugin's like either working too hard or not working at all because there's nothing for it to work with.
Yeah, it's all in the gain staging. It's kind of like So if I don't know how loud this is gonna get, but if I crank this, see how it's peaking, and this has a limiter, so let me turn that off. These little limiters, they're everywhere. They're just little safety nets. That's the only reason why I put them there. It's not even like a noticeable thing.
Yeah,
it's just safety. But if I were to turn it off.
Well, after cranking that,
yeah. Look at it, won't even peak. I don't know why. Oh,
it's trying.
It's trying to peak. Oh, it's because I probably see all these safety nets. So this is why they're there. I can't even force this thing to peak if I wanted to. Like I'm trying to, and it won't. I was just trying to explain that if
it's like he just hits saturation at that point.
Yeah. I was just trying to show that if all this stuff's peaking, you can literally just ride the master down and it won't peak anymore. Even though these show that they are, it's still the only thing that matters is the very last step of it.
And the last thing you want to do is be pulling the master volume down too. So
yeah, I don't like playing with the master really at all. This sum is basically it's like a pre-master. So this is the song with no extra sound effects applied. So this is literally just the song, without any fancy added things to it. Let me just get rid of those peaks. It annoys me too. That's why I have a shortcut set to just kill all of those indicators, all these red peak indicators.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so everything here, the drums and the soft stuff, it's going into kind of like a two bus or like a pre-mixed type thing where I'm just controlling it a little more with a little multi-band, and then this Fresh Air is an awesome free plugin from Slate, and it just adds a little bit of that nice high-end. Like,
That's a nice one. On like most things, you can do anything with that. It's nice.
yeah, and it doesn't hurt your ear. It's not like you're throwing up 4K and then it's just getting harsh to listen to. And then I have a little bit of this going on. It's just a little bit of like imager to widen it a little, you know. Because this is a big song as far as like it sounds spacey.
Yeah.
So you don't want a song like this to sound narrow and down the center.
You want it to be spread.
Exactly. So that's all that is. These are just kind of like little touches and all that. And then separate from this sum, I have the sound effects, which is the bass drop type stuff, the transitions, some of these swell pads. But there's not a lot of
the little cymbal wishes.
Yeah, these sound like they're all cymbal wishes. And these are sidechained to this, just like the drums are. Or is it not? I usually do. It's not in this case. So if we had bass drops, there's no bass drops in this. But if we did have them, I would sidechain this effects
To the sum.
to the entire instrumental.
Yeah, so it's not fucking
Yeah.
overbearing.
Then
So it's not beeping overbearing.
So it's kind of like layers of doing the same thing. So I start just by having the soft instruments on their own with no drums, and then separate from that I have the drums, just the drums. And I'm ducking the soft whenever the drums hit for a very, very quick time. And then all of that gets mixed, goes through this first thing that controls it a little more, and then this whole thing is ducked. So it's kind of like you're stacking up a pyramid almost.
Right. It's a process of starting with the softs, putting in the drums,
Yep.
combining them.
Right.
It kind of like almost like a parallel of.
Yeah, the way I imagine it is if you're looking at like a conveyor belt and you're watching something get made, it's kind of like that.
Like assembly, yeah.
It's an assembly.
It's an assembly.
Exactly, it's an assembly line. And most of these things, they already sound good because you already process them to taste when you were making it.
Yeah.
So by the time they get here, it's just a matter of leveling, which is the most important part anyway.
Yep.
That's why a lot of these, they just have the clip on them, and that's just a safety net. That's all it is. It's not really doing anything audible that you can hear. And I did something with this bass. I think, what was it? What do we have? Oh, Saturn. That's just to give it
A little extra texture, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if... Let's see if you can hear it.
Give it a little more fatness, yeah.
Yeah, it fattens it up, I guess, yeah. That's what it sounds like. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, though. If you look at all these other ones, I mean, the acoustic guitar, I think, yeah, it just added some air to make it a little bit...
A little more crisp.
Yeah, just if I A, B this.
A little more intricate.
I don't even know if I'm hearing any differences in anything.
Just a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear the mids and the highs come
That was going
a
crazy.
little more into play. And it's not like a massive amount, but
No.
it's enough
No, it's definitely not.
where it kind of like pokes out during like the entire mix.
Right. And then the master, it's literally just a maximizer. That's all it is. I did miss something here, though, that I should show. That's an awesome free plugin for Reaper. You get it on Repack. This is Spectrum Matcher, because it says that's what it is. It's basically a match EQ. It's an EQ matcher. So I'll go and find some tracks that are kind of similar to the genre, and I'll just run it through here and just kind of blend. I don't fully match it. I just blend the match so that we get a little bit more in the ballpark of what we're going for without struggling so much. Right. It's okay sometimes to like take a couple of easy paths, you know, just to help yourself a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt.
It helps develop your ear too.
Yeah.
So you're constantly comparing, and you're hearing the way most things sound, and it's like, okay, at least if I'm close to that, I'm in the ballpark. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just very simple EQs. This is, I guess, the low end, just was getting a little crazy, so I brought that down a little bit. More limiters. And you're kind of squashing things and compressing things along the way because of all of these little uses of the limiter. They build up over time, and by the time you get to the end, it's just a block of cheese. The wave, it's just. This isn't actually too like metal songs are usually just a block because there's not a ton of ups and downs and transients.
Yeah, the dynamics are a lot different.
Yeah, there's almost no dynamics, but with this, there's definitely more dynamics. But you get the illusion of dynamic because we're side chaining over here. So even though things are limited toward the top, you're still getting the soft stuff ducking when the drums hit. So you still get the movement. Mm-hmm. It's just more of a controlled movement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as linear.
Right.
It's got like, you feel it here, you feel this here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're allowed to feel everything instead of just like, here's a straight beat.
Yeah.
And here's all the instruments.
But you got to make room for things. It's like if you had a glass of water filled to the brim and then you drop something into it, the water's going to spill out of the top. So it's like you got to make room if you're going to add more stuff. And this automatically gives us that room whenever we need it. It's automatically just ducking. So that's good. But yeah, anyway, I think that's kind of it, really. There's not a lot of this stuff, this is all reference stuff. You know, I'm just constantly listening because you can get deep into a mix, and if you have a good trained ear, you're gonna probably be in the ballpark by the time you're done mixing without references. But personally, I like to hear references just to make sure that I'm not thinking this is amazing, and then I compare it and I'm like, oh, I'm not even close, because you can get that way. Or some things can be way too loud, like even louder than the commercial mixes, which are already loud because everybody's competing for that loudness.
Yeah.
You know.
I've also learned too to like not cut out too much during the first mix stage, essentially. Because I mean, the way we did it was like a two mix stage, kind of.
Yeah.
Like a one mix stage, second mix stage, slate, master. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Kinda
first
combo.
round of mixing it's less technical, it's more creative, it's
Yeah.
more decisions for the sound versus like, you know, being overly critical about it, because you don't really want to combine those worlds if you can avoid it, the critical technical versus the creative, because it's death to creativity if you're thinking about things like that too much.
And yeah, you'd probably overly do something, and it'd probably ruin the entire mix if you were like trying to combine them both at least. I guess it would be different if it was like, okay, you mix it and then a month or a couple of weeks later you step back and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a second mix look at this, kind of thing.
Another thing I did too, which is just a creative choice really, or you know, there's different ways to do it. So sometimes you'll hear like, it's hard to have a mix that's just the same unless it's a speed metal song and nothing really changes. You can't really set too many faders and just leave them. The automation, I hate automation because it just adds complication, but it's needed. You know. So
I don't mind it.
I just can't stand.
Depending on what I'm doing with it.
Yeah, these automation items help a lot because you can control it as a shape instead of sitting there. And trying to
and you can copy them too, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm sure there's other DAWs that might have this, but I mean, Reaper makes it fucking.
It makes it easy.
Unbelievably easy.
So what did I do? I did frequency. Yeah, so these are just little roll-offs. So I wonder, how do I open it? I'll just open it from here, I guess. Oh, you know what? That explains that. Explains it.
That high cut, yeah.
It's not through the whole thing. It was because I was at the beginning. Okay. Because I was like, I would never roll a drum off like that. That's kind of insane.
And this is also a free comparison to
Pro Q, yeah.
Pro Q for Reaper.
That's what's beautiful about Reaper is that it's such a community-driven thing because it's open source, so anybody can contribute to it, which is awesome. But yeah, in certain sections, I roll off the high end to kind of like for which part's this? Let's see. So you'll see here at the very last chorus, if you want to call it, it's wide open. So you have the full frequency, and in all the other parts, it's rolled off. This is another type. It's the same chorus type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's giving you these moments where everything kind of comes in and hushes a little bit, And it's like it gives you it's more dynamics. It's like adding dynamics in after you've already controlled it. So it's not just the same squished signal throughout the whole song.
It's like almost like literature in a way, if you really wanted to put it that way, where you can kind of like don't give it all, and you kind of like give little pieces of like how it is, although it's audio, but you're hearing it differently throughout.
Well, you're telling a story.
Yeah.
I mean, like anything, but you're trying to tell the story from left to right, from beginning to end. You're guiding the listener through it. This is rides on the master, so the very beginning, it's the same type of deal, except we fade into the roll off. So you'll see it. It's insanely rolled off here. So it's kind of like the song's coming, like it's approaching you, like a train almost in the distance at the very beginning, and you'll see it. Like
So it's coming in, which is nice because it's like it's a nice feel into it.
Yeah, it's not just a fade. You could just do a fade, but doesn't sound as interesting to me.
Especially it instead of having, because like you think about it, there's more going on. Like if you have a fade, it's cutting it out.
It's on
versus like bringing in a frequency. It's a completely different level of like fading.
Well, I mean, think of it this way: if you have a sound that you're listening to and you put that in another room, it doesn't just get quieter.
Right.
The tone changes. The frequency changes. So if you want to make it sound like the song is approaching you, and then when it kicks in, it's at full blast and it hits you.
Yeah, it's like you're traveling, and then you're traveling into it, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like someone's listening to the song in a car and they're driving up or something, and then they open the door and then the entrance,
and there it is.
Kicks in.
You just opened your way into this song.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially it. That's kind of it's not even a lot of automation, I would say. It's just I pick the different sections and kind of dip the frequency, and it's always a roll off for the most part of the high end. And then whenever these big sections come in, like especially the last one, I also added a lot more reverb. I blended in more verb with the snares and stuff at that point. Unless I'm lying, I think I did. Yeah, there's definitely more. I think I even put it on to one of these as well, or I think I did a send, or yeah, there it is, the drum verb. Yeah, even this, there it is. There's the automation I was looking for. So let's just hear it. It's super dry at this point in the track because it's rolled off.
Yeah.
So I want to make it sound like it's in a little box at this point because it's right before the biggest part of the song. So if you want to make that part feel bigger, you want to make the part before it feel smaller.
Yep.
Which is another good way to do it versus trying to make things bigger and bigger and bigger because you're going to hit a ceiling, especially because I have limiters on stuff. So you can't make it louder. You're just going to start getting into insane Squishville where everything's going to be all distorted and peaking. So instead, you could bring it down. I've done that too with masters at the very, very end, even past the limiters, and you're at the final. So if I do it for metal. If I'm on this master fader, everything's set, everything's good, everything's limited. What you can do is go to the verses and automate it down a little bit so that when the choruses come in, they sound louder. You know what I mean? Because you can't push beyond that because you're going to start peaking.
Yeah,
exactly. You just can't do it. So if you're like, well, these choruses sound kind of like the same level as everything, a trick is to just go in and take all of the other stuff and just bring it down.
The easier trick is to do it with the master, which I've actually never really tinkered with the master like that. I probably would have.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have split everything and lowered everything
I know
individually, but
you could do it that way.
But
that's a pain in the ass.
Exactly. This is a lot easier.
If it's just volume,
it's a lot easier this way.
Then you can get away with it.
There's no reason why you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not adding volume. You're just taking a little bit and bringing it back.
And I'm still avoiding this because I made a master here.
Right.
So this is my master technically.
Yeah.
So
it's just like a master send. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're looking.
But
at
not the master.
Here.
But it is the master. But kind of,
right.
sort of.
Yeah, I called it master ride because this is what I'm using to ride the volume. Before the actual master.
Before the master takes over.
Yeah, I ignore this track if I can.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's like a golden rule just to ignore that track.
Well, the problem with using this master track is that I can't put that into another folder. If I decide, I want more stuff, like if I wanted to, at least here, because if this is my master, I could always say, no, it's not.
Yeah.
This is.
That is.
And I can constantly stack.
Or this.
Or this. I can
But
constantly.
yeah, when you actually add the physical
I can't
master
do
to there,
anything
you're
with it.
limited.
Exactly. I've limited myself. If I start working on here, so yeah, I do work on the master, like a top-down mixing kind of, but
On a like a,
an
it's kind
actual
of
track.
it's like it's a pre-master.
they're all pre-masters, really, if you think about it. This is a master until I add another track, and then I put it in there, and then now, that becomes the master. So you can constantly change it, which could also be a trap. You'll never finish. But I like having the flexibility anyway. And then I love being able to do this, and
Hide everything.
there's the song, and I can actually see how loud things are just by looking at it in a way. Or I could quickly find, okay, these are the big moments, without needing to like look at everything and say, all right, where are things supposed to, like, where's the max volumes, and like,
Yeah.
it's impossible.
Where does everything hit the highest peak?
Yeah, you're not gonna find it. Like when you're mastering, you usually want to go to what part of the song is going to be the loudest, and then you work at that, and then you can kind of go backwards. But because Reaper's awesome with their folders, I can see. I can't do that on this.
No.
If I'm using this, I can't see where, unless you show the master track, which sometimes I do.
No, I don't even know if it'll show it on the master track. It'll just show the track.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I don't even think it does show it. So
It's a limited.
So this is a nice way to actually see what's going on in the song.
Now, when you set that up, is that just a folder of everything?
It's just a folder of everything. I literally, I'll get rid of that. I literally just put a folder on top, and then I just put everything in it. That's it.
And there you go.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please share it and subscribe to the channel. We post a variety of content ranging from the music we produce to the occasional long-form conversation where we chat about anything and everything related to the entertainment industry. And if you are in need of audio or music-related services, head over to epicmelodyproductions.com. All links are listed in the description.